Donald Trump is casting a long shadow over the next global gathering to tackle climate change. He pulled the US out of the Paris Accord when he was first president and is expected to do the same again at cop29 in the oil-rich country of Azerbaijan.
Delegates arrive in Baku to a major reality check. The venue for this year's climate talks is sandwiched between two oil fields. The so-called nodding donkeys pumping Azerbaijan's oil wealth quietly remind negotiators fossil fuels flow faster than ever. Less quietly, America's next president is doing the same.
Leave the oil to me. We have more liquid gold, oil and gas. We have more liquid gold than any country in the world, more than Saudi Arabia. We have more than Russia.
The president-elect's campaign promise to pull out of the Paris Agreement couldn't have come at a worse time. This year is expected to be 1.5 degrees warmer than pre-industrial times, the very threshold the Paris Plan was supposed to avoid. Tasked with radically accelerating an end to fossil fuels, the talks already had their work cut out, being hosted once again in a petro-state. There's so much oil and gas right under Baku. Here, the rocks are on fire. Natural gas seeping up through these fissures is thought to have burned continuously for about 4,000 years. No wonder then that Azerbaijan gets 98% of its energy from fossil fuels. And despite being president of this year's climate summit, it shows no intention of changing that. As well as announcing more ambitious carbon-cutting plans, which Azerbaijan may still do, cop29 must agree a new financing deal to help developing countries like it transition away from fossil fuels. The US was seen as key to that process, and though its negotiators here still serve President Biden, what weight will their words carry if their next boss intends to fire them?
It's a blow. But what I want people to understand is that the federal government is one thing. States in the international community are entirely different. We can continue to work with them in concert with understanding that while we may be delayed again as a result of the Trump administration, that we're not giving up. We're going to keep moving forward.
But what can't be ignored is that Mr. Trump just witnessed the lethal impacts of weather like Hurricane Helene, made more extreme by warmer temperatures. More than 72 million Americans would have seen it too and still voted for him. A collective apathy towards climate change that will hang heavy at these talks.